Have you ever stepped on the scale, felt proud of your progress, and then looked in the mirror only to still see that stubborn belly staring back at you? Here's the thing nobody talks about. Losing weight and losing belly fat are not the same thing. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why and give you the science-backed roadmap to finally get rid of the most dangerous fat in your body for good. Because here's what's actually happening inside your body right now that your scale will never tell you. There are two completely different types of fat in your midsection: the soft, pinchable fat just beneath your skin, and then there's the other kind, the kind you cannot see or feel. It wraps around your liver, stomach, and pancreas, doing silent damage every single day. That's visceral fat. And ladies, this one matters, not just for how you look, but for how long and how well you live. Visceral fat is directly linked to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, and even certain cancers. But here's what completely changed my perspective. Visceral fat, despite being the most dangerous, is actually the easiest fat to lose once you know how to attack it. So stay with me, because I'm about to walk you through the exact foods, drinks, and exercises that science confirms will target visceral fat specifically and burn it faster than anything else you've tried. Let's start with food, because what lands on your plate every day is either feeding that visceral fat or starving it. And the first category might surprise you with how simple it is. I'm talking about colorful vegetables and fruits, but not for the usual boring reasons. These foods are rich in carotenoids, natural pigments that give carrots their orange color, tomatoes their red, and spinach that rich dark green. Beyond pretty colors, carotenoids are powerful antioxidants that do something remarkable. They neutralize free radicals causing inflammation, but it gets even better. Carotenoids can actually influence your genes, switching on genes that burn fat while quieting the ones that store it. When I first learned this, it completely changed how I looked at vegetables. I used to think of them as just healthy fillers. But once I understood they were literally sending instructions to my cells to burn fat, that made me excited to eat them. A study in Japan found that just 8 weeks of eating carotenoid-rich vegetables produced measurable visceral fat reductions across all groups: sweet potatoes, bell peppers, butternut squash, carrots, leafy greens. They all work. I started making sure every meal had at least 2 different colored vegetables about a year ago. My waist measurements have consistently dropped, even during weeks when my weight stayed the same. Quick question: what's your go-to colorful vegetable? Drop it in the comments, because I'm always looking for recipe inspiration. Now here's something most women already have in their kitchen with no idea how powerful it is: green tea. And before you roll your eyes, let me tell you why it actually works. Green tea is loaded with catechins that change how your body processes fat. They boost fat burning, block fat absorption, and combined with natural caffeine, create a supercharged fat-burning effect. A study in Japan showed that 12 weeks of consuming catechin-enriched green tea led to significant visceral fat reductions. The key is choosing minimally processed varieties like matcha. I was a hardcore coffee person for years. About 6 months ago, I swapped my morning coffee for matcha. Not only do I feel more energized without the jitters, but my clothes fit differently around my midsection even when the scale barely moves. That's visceral fat melting away. All right, now let's shift gears, because this is where everything changes. A major analysis of over 100 studies confirmed something incredibly important. Exercise has superior effects specifically on visceral fat compared to diet alone. Exercise beats diet when it comes to targeting visceral fat directly. And here's the study that blew my mind. Just 2 45-minute cycling sessions per week for 2 months reduced visceral fat by 48%. Nearly half gone in 2 months. And the intensity wasn't even extreme. Participants could still hold a conversation. What makes this even more interesting? The scale barely moved, which brings me to something critical. The scale is lying to you. I have a friend named Rachel who was doing everything right: eating well, exercising 4 times a week, getting her sleep. After 2 months, she'd only lost 3 pounds and was ready to quit. Then we took her measurements and did a body composition scan. Her waist? Down 4 inches. Her body fat? Dropped from 31 to 26%. If you're eating well, moving your body, and the scale refuses to budge, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Your visceral fat is melting. Your insulin sensitivity is improving. Progress is happening where it matters for your health. So please, stop letting that number define your effort or your worth. When researchers analyzed 84 studies to find the most effective exercise for visceral fat reduction, the winners were vigorous aerobic exercise and high-intensity interval training. Both were more effective than resistance training for this specific goal. But resistance training still matters for muscle and metabolism. If you want to lose visceral fat fast, though, dial up your cardio. And between HIIT and steady-state cardio, research shows they're remarkably similar in effectiveness. Which means your job isn't finding the perfect workout, it's finding a workout you'll actually show up for consistently. That walk you love? That dance class that makes you forget you're exercising? That's going to beat the perfect protocol you dread and skip, every single time. I used to force myself through brutal HIIT workouts because I thought that's what I had to do, but I dreaded them and found excuses to skip. Now I do Zumba 3 times a week because I genuinely enjoy it, and my results are actually better because I'm consistent. The research-backed sweet spot is 2 to 3 sessions per week, at least 45 minutes each, at moderate to vigorous intensity. You can measure this with the talk test. If you can speak full sentences but sound breathless, you're at moderate intensity. If you can only get a few words out, that's vigorous. Either works. And here's the encouraging part. The more you move, the more visceral fat you lose. But calorie restriction has a ceiling. There's a limit to benefit from cutting food. There's no ceiling with movement. So you don't need to starve yourself. You need to move your body and fuel it properly. Here's your action plan. Create a small calorie deficit. Fill your plate with colorful, carotenoid-rich foods. Sip your green tea or matcha. And progressively increase your activity level. That's the science-backed formula. If this gave you the clarity you've been searching for, hit that like button because it genuinely helps this reach more women who need it. I've got more content coming that builds on what we covered today. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment and let me know which strategy you're starting with. Colorful veggies, green tea, or ramping up your cardio. I read every single one. You deserve to feel good in your body, and now you have the science to back up every step you take toward that goal. Let's do this together.